All right, here's our iron rock off-road front and center frame stiffeners. And here's the little lip I was telling you about. This is the lip that goes up against the bottom of the floor. So it gives you a little bit extra support on there and more to weld in. So let's go ahead and get these things out and see if they're going to fit on. All right, we're about to install our driver's side frame stiffener. I've put some self-etching primer on the back of this. We're still going to go ahead and clean up where the weld spots will be on the unibody frame rail. But we're going to go do that right now. There's our front cross member ready to go in as soon as we're ready. And let's get down here. So you can see I cleaned up the frame rail, stripped it down, then reprimed it, and then what I'm going to go through and do now is mark the welding locations with a marker, and then we'll wire brush those off. You can see our nice new floor laying in there. Doesn't that look good? And let's do that marking right now. Come on this jack. Okay, so we've cleaned up our weld patches everywhere that this iron rock off-road frame stiffener has a hole to weld through. I've gone ahead and gone in with the wire wheel and cleaned up just that spot. So really should put us into a good spot.
On top.
Yeah, I do. Oh, let her down. A little bit. Okay, good. Okay, jack it up. Okay, stop right there. Let's give it a little love. A little tough love. Okay, up. Okay, stop right there. All right. I put a bunch of clamps right here. Let's go ahead and clamp this in place. What we're doing is just getting this frame stiffener really positioned well to be welded in correctly. All right, how about letting that jack down just a little bit?
Okay.
That's good. Now, back up with it. Oh, stop. Okay, let it down a little bit. Okay, back up. Okay, well, let's hold it down now. Up.
Keep on going.
That's good.
You want me?
Okay, jack that up.
Keep on going.
Yep. A little bit.
How much more?
Okay, stop right there. Okay, right now, slowly. All right. Before we get the transfer case back in, we're going to go ahead and finish cleaning up all these welds and grinding more rust off, the surface rust. And we'll go ahead and clean this up, seal it, paint it, and get that stuff all done. Then we're going to go ahead and put our new Novak shift cable conversion on here. And then we'll put the transfer case back in. And then we'll put our Ironman 4x4 fab lower plates on. And that's where we're going to try and end up today. Let's get started. All right, so if you're sitting there at home watching this and what you're wondering is, hey, why doesn't he have a respirator on? That's a great question, and I don't have a great answer. So apparently I just want to die sooner than I should. But what's going on here is I'm using wire wheel to just knock a bunch of this surface rust off the rest of the floor underneath the passenger compartment of the Cherokee. This stuff was mostly just surface rust, and it did not go all the way through, and it really didn't structurally change the floor at all. So my goal here is to clean it up as much as possible, then hit it with a bunch of navel jelly several times, kind of go through that process until I've got pretty clean metal ready to go, and hopefully I don't have to cut any more of this stuff out. Now there's my first coat of navel jelly on some of it. I'm going ahead and actually using my body hammer and flattening out some of that seam weld that I put in there from the floor panel. I'm going to go ahead and use body sealer over this, some really good body sealer, and so that should seal up really nicely, but I'm going to go ahead and get it as tight as possible anyway. So I'm working through the second application of navel jelly and going back through and wire brushing some things that didn't quite clean up well enough, and just generally trying to make sure I'm getting as much of that surface rust knocked off as possible. We really don't want to be chasing rust on this thing for the rest of our lives, and obviously that's a challenge on Cherokees. They really did not do a great job with the corrosion protection at the factory, but it is what it is, and hopefully we can make this little red dude survive a little longer. That's going to be it for today's video. In the next video, we'll go ahead and seal up these seams and install our Novak shift cable and try and paint this center section of the floor so we can go ahead and stick our center section and our transfer case back in. So, till next time, thanks.